Yes?
I was wondering if any of you guys knew, what's the criteria that goes in deciding what anime gets localized over here versus others? Is there a set criteria you have to meet?
Not necessarily, and it's a little bit different now, I think, than it was even just a few years ago. I know there's a lot of shows right now that are coming out subtitled only, and the old model back 15, 16 or so years ago used to be, if a show it did well as a subtitled show, then they think, okay, let's go ahead and dub it into English. And I think it's kind of come full circle back around to that. But, what exact logarithms and charts and sketches are involved, I don't really know, other than just, the research or opinions of the people who own those distribution rights.
My question is, how exactly did you guys get into the industry? Excuse me. And what kind of tips did you might have for beginners?
Well, for beginners, I would say take acting classes, because voiceovers, voice acting is you have to have acting skills first and foremost. So just get as much experience as you can, whether it's in school plays, community theater, just whatever you can do to get up in front of people and perform. Start doing that now. I was lucky to grow up right outside New York City. So I was very close to the industry, and I started really young. When I was a teenager, I would go into auditions in New York, do commercials and theater, and some voiceover stuff as well. And then when I was older, somebody introduced me to the people at 4Kids, and I auditioned for them, and I landed a role. So it was kind of half experience and half just meeting the right people. Yeah.
I started out just practicing on my own, and then I decided to take workshops. Tony Oliver does really good workshops, Adventures in Voice Acting. And I've also done a lot of vocal training, like singing, and that helps too.
And what she was talking about, that was in California.
Oh, he does them all over the country.
Oh, does he?
But
Okay.
mostly in California.
Mostly in California, okay. My background was theater, and I think definitely any kind of acting training is really important, especially also not just acting training, but additionally improvisation is really good. I think just besides having good basic acting skills, that improvisation is very key, and cold reading, I think, is really so important. And I was talking a lot about cold reading the other day, and after the panel somebody came up and said, what is cold reading? Cold reading is, I hand you something, you've never seen it before in your life, you pick it up and you read it as if it's something that you've been rehearsing for a week. That's what cold reading is. And that's voiceover, because you don't have the script in advance, you're not rehearsing it. So that's really, really important. But yeah, my background was in theater. Someone knew about voice auditions. They called me and said, hey, heard about this audition, you want to go to that. So really, once you're doing it, I think that's kind of what we're saying, is once you're doing it, then you find out about other opportunities, and the opportunities sort of beget one another.
My story is kind of odd. I'm an anime fan, and I wanted to be a voiceover actor. So it was something I'd been working towards when I was 12. And I got when I got my first audition, it was at an anime convention, because there was an opportunity to show that, hey, look, I can voice act in front of professionals, and they liked it. So they called me in to audition for stuff. And I was lucky that I did know what I wanted to do when I was young, and I was able to really work my way up from the very bottom.
Thank you.
Do you ever have people run up to you in public and say, I know that voice, it's so-and-so from my favorite anime, and if you do, how do you handle that?
It hasn't happened to me in public yet. The conventions people, I think they recognize my voice.
I've been recognized in public a few times, but it's not that they hear my voice so much and recognize me. I do a lot of conventions, and I've been going to conventions for 15 years. So I've been kind of, even though what I do is behind closed doors, so to speak, it sounds dirty. But I mean, voiceover is what I'm known for, but people actually, to some extent, and I'm not saying it happens every day, but people do recognize me just because I've been a visible presence in the industry for a long time. So I don't know, it's pretty crazy. It's weird because for the most part, I do not get recognized. So if someone recognizes me, at Barnes & Noble or Whole Foods, it's a little weird.
Yeah. I was ordering pizza once, and I was like, hey, can I have a large cheese with blah blah? And the guy next to me was like,
You're on the radio.
and I was like, yes, because I had like a radio commercial at the time. He was like,
Yeah, I knew I'd recognize your voice.
and I was like, yep, thank you. And I just say thanks and hi.
I've been lucky to have a lot of face exposure, like on anime TV and working with IGN. So it's happened a few times, like at Walmart, Subway, usually places where there's like a comic book store in the area. And sometimes it's great. Other times, I'm just like with a hoodie and like glasses, and it's like, oh hey, it's good to see you. It's really flattering. Thank you.
This is a bit of a random one. What's your favorite anime or video game that you weren't a part of?
Weren't a part of? What's the part?
Like that you didn't voice act in?
Narima Daikon Brothers.
Yeah!
Woo! Love me some Narima Daikon Brothers. First one that popped into my mind. Love that show.
I play like all the Final Fantasies, so I love that whole series.
Kingdom Hearts and Pokemon.
I don't know.
I think it would be cool to be part of Final Fantasy as well.
Yay!
I have a series of League of Legends questions for Cristina.
Oh, snap.
Okay, how did you come about finding an audition for Riven, and how long did it take you to actually record it?
Okay, so I was called into audition for Big Zoom, who I work a lot with, and I've done a series of auditions for them. I've auditioned for 5 champions before I booked Riven. Which ones? Katarina, Lux, Oriana. They actually had me read for the new Fox Girl too.
Oh, I read for that. You beat me out for Ribbon. Did you know that?
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
And whatchamacallit? What was the other question? Oh, how long did it take to record? There's like only 3 pages of dialogue. It took maybe 2 hours tops to record Ribbon.
Okay, and I have another question. I guess it's directed at everyone, but do you actually play League of Legends? And if you do, what champion would you like to play most?
I play Lux. My screen name is Cristina B. Yeah, I started playing right before I booked Ribbon, and I think that really helps get through all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
No, don't play.
Who is your favorite doctor and why?
David Tennant because of the Smex.
From the original series, I would probably say Peter Davison, the 5th Doctor. He was hot. And I don't know, I'm super into Matt Smith right now. I mean, he's young, and I thought he would be too young, and I thought I wouldn't like him. But he did something to me. Love me some Matt Smith.
I haven't gotten to David Tennant yet, but I'm feeling he's going to be my favorite for the same reason, the Smex.
It's pretty delicious.
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it.
Question?
Come on up.
Hello.
Hello.
Can I ask 2 questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. First is, I have never ever heard the dub of Don't Say Lazy. Did they do it, and can you sing it?
I have made up the English lyrics, but we never did it.
Yeah, they did.
Never did in the series?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Do you know your made-up ones?
I don't know if I remember them.
Please don't say you are lazy, cause I am just as crazy.
about swans flying. Kicking in the water.
The other one is, out of all the series and all the characters you've ever voiced, who's your favorite and what's the favorite line?
Favorite.
If you can pick one.
It's hard. I like Homura the best, for me. She is awesome. Favorite line? It's hard because her lines are like either like 2 words or in monologue. Madoka. Dot, dot, dot.
I really have a hard time picking one favorite character, but honestly, if I had to say Asuka, then the best line ever that I've ever said for any character is, "What are you, stupid?"
My favorite character is Azusa from Can, and my favorite line is like when they're shooting the like recruitment video, so people can join the club, and they make her go, "Welcome to the Light Music Club."
I think my favorite character is Totori in Atelier Totori because it was the first like real lead that I had in a video game, and I was super excited about it. And while I was recording, I didn't get the whole barrel joke, but while I was playing, I was like, oh. So I guess my favorite line would just be barrel, because it like trolls you every time it happens.
Good evening, ladies.
Hello.
Rather odd question. Is there a role that any of you regret having done?
Regret? No.
That was quick.
I was wondering, when it comes to voice acting, do you have anybody that's like a source of inspiration or a role model that you look up to?
My role model for voice acting is Kari Wahlgren. She's been amazing. Yeah, she's getting bigger and bigger, and she's just incredible. I love her.
I don't know if I had really one specific person that was my inspiration to get into voice acting, but I did look up very much to the people that I watched as a kid, so like Mel Blanc, people like that, you know.
My favorites growing up were Tara Strong and Marie Cabanos, and I really look up to Steve Bloom. I just don't know how to say his last name.
I really look up to Cristina V, Tiffany Grant, and Marie Cabanos. They inspire me every day.
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. Hi.
My question is, when you're voicing the characters, how do you know, how do you figure out the right voice for them?
I read this quote one time. I can't even remember who said it, but I thought it was great. It was, I look at the character and their voice comes out of my mouth. And it's kind of that. I mean, since the visual is there to me and I see it and I see how that character's interacting with their environment, and usually, sorry I interrupted you, but like the director has told you about the show, about the characters, about that character's circumstances, and that just informs your performance of the role. So I mean, you are actually creating a character, and that voice, that's just how they sound. I don't know.
Sometimes the director or the client will shape it after you.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it needs to be a little younger, a little older, higher, softer, gravelier, or whatever they want. But I don't know.
I usually just like read a scene and kind of see how they're reacting, and then I come up with something, and then the director either says yes or no, we want to go more this direction, and usually try a couple different voices, and then you decide on one. And with that, I actually have to go to the airport, so